Hey everybody, it is Tuesday morning and I've got another rainy day that I'm cooped up in the house, so I'm going to be down here working on my garden tank area. I don't really remember what it looked like the last public video I shot. I have posted some video on my Patreon page, keeping everybody up to date on the progress I've been making. Publicly, I think the last video I shot, I had the tank back here up and running, which is now sort of defunct for the moment. We'll get to that later. Today's project is going to be working on this crab tank. If you're wondering, this bowl here is just a bowl of crushed eggshells. It's going to go in one of my tanks. I just set it down there last night and haven't done anything with it. That's irrelevant. It's just sitting there. This tank doesn't have any animals in it or anything like that. This is just sort of a design concept. I'm trying to get an idea of what I want it to look like. Again, the dead nettle back there is just, you know, stuck in a pot, and it's thrown up there just to give it a little bit of, you know, look and feel of some naturalness. So what I've really got going on in here is a divider. Got a piece of Lexan keeping the sand on this side and water on that side. The problems I'm running into, and you can see right here, is that it's just a piece of Lexan stuck in there, and the weight of the sand is pushing it, and if there's even the smallest little gap right here, the sand works its way through, and eventually the whole thing is starting to shift. And while I've got it functioning now, you can see I've got the pump sort of hidden under there, and it's basically just the top of the fountain right there, and just keep it covered up a little bit. So I kind of like this setup. I like the look and the way we've got the, you know, beach over here. We're going to get some crabs going on in there, but I just don't see it lasting. I just see me eventually having issues with this collapsing, and the sand getting down here, and the sand getting in the filter and clogging it up. And so today I think I'm just going to bite the bullet and tear this whole thing down, completely strip the tank out, dry it out, and use some silicone adhesive and really actually install that piece of Lexan. I'll drill a bunch of tiny little holes in it along the bottom so that water can move through it. I want the sand to stay moist. You know, I do need the water to be able to move through. Or maybe not, I don't know. Maybe I'll just let it flow over the top, and that way we don't lose any sand. I don't know. But what I'm going to do is seal the Lexan in there, and I'm going to think about it as I go along. I can always remove it if I don't like it. You know, I'm just putting it in there with some silicone caulk. It's not like I'm, you know, welding it in there or gluing it to the glass with something, you know, that's going to break the glass if I try to remove it. So if it doesn't work out, I can always change it. But I think I'm going to go with a simple separation down the middle. I've thought about doing it diagonally. I've thought about going halfway out and then doing another piece this way and creating sort of an area that would be separated from the rest of the tank. And I've thought of a lot of different things this morning. And what I keep coming back to is the simplicity of just doing this. I've never done a tank like this before. You know, I don't need to jump in with both feet and do a huge elaborate setup on my first attempt at doing a tank like this. So I think we're going to go with just a simple separation. Now, I'm still not 100% sure whether I want to angle it to create sort of a visual beach effect, or do I want just a straight line? I don't know. That's kind of a good question too. Maybe we'll go with a little bit of an angle so we've got at least the visual appearance of this beach. As far as looking down on it, that's not going to matter. Even if it was a straight up and down wall, we're going to have rocks and stuff up against it. But when we see it from this angle, you will very clearly see a straight line where there's sand on this side and water on that side. So if I put the Lexan at a sort of natural angle, the sand will still stay on this side of the Lexan, but it'll give the visual appearance of being a more natural sloping beach. So maybe I'll do something like that. I don't know. I don't have to use this piece of Lexan. I do have another piece that I cut that little section off of, and so I can make it, you know, I could go all the way up to the top of the tank and completely separate it into two, you know, separate units if I wanted, but we're not going to do that. So that's my goal for today. That's my plans anyway. So that's the little update I got going on. Hopefully by this afternoon I'll be able to shoot another update showing you the progress I've made. So make sure you're subscribed, and that way you won't miss it. Don't forget, this one here is my garden tank area. This one is my red clawed crab tank in particular. And as I said before, we're going to work on this tank back here later. I got some big ideas for that. But before I do that, I've got an animal that needs, to get in this tank. So we need to get this one done before I start messing around with something else. So we're going to work on this one today. And as I said, if you're subscribed, you won't miss that or anything else I got coming up. So don't forget, this one is my red clawed crab tank. And I'll see you real soon in the next one. Thanks for watching.